Hello, my name is Lawrence A. Robinson. On Tuesday, April 17th, the Don Miller Radio Show did a segment discussing an article that I had written which appeared in the West Orlando News. Some of the things that he, his staff, and guests said were questionable or misleading. I recorded the program, and here I will try to explain some of the more interesting parts. The first segment is Mr. Miller's introduction.
It's going to be at the corner of Monte Carlo and John Young, an area that has been acknowledged as a food desert, quite frankly. But Mr. Robinson believes that that business is not going to help anyone in that community. Mr. Robinson, of course, declined to join us here on the Don Miller Show for whatever reason.
Okay, Lawrence Robinson again. Mr. Miller wants you to believe that I hate Wal-Mart. Not true. I visit and purchase from Wal-Mart on occasion. I explained to D'Amica, Mr. Miller's producer, why I declined to come on the show. It was because the show is about the opposition to Wal-Mart. My opposition is about the negative effects Wal-Mart's business model has on the surrounding community. It is their business model that I object to. Other stores don't destroy the community like this one does. In the beginning, Wal-Mart's model was a good one for the surrounding community, but they bought local and gave back to the community. But 6 months after Sam Walton died, the policies were still in place, but the practices changed.
Joining us here on the Don Miller Show, he's the person who is responsible, who worked real hard to bring this Wal-Mart grocery store to that community because he and many others felt that community needed this. Joining us here on the Don Miller Show, he is the pastor of the Hope Church in Orlando, Bishop Allen Wiggins. Hey, Bishop Wiggins, how are you?
Fine. How are you doing today, Don?
Good, good. Bishop, you read this article about a local resident who believes that this is not a good idea, that it's not going to positively affect the community, but you have worked hard, along with the city and many other people, to make this happen. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we so graciously appreciate his comments. But at the same time, in our own evaluation and being a part of this community ourselves, living in this community, we see it as a great need. We've identified it as being we are located in a food desert. And the truth of the matter is, when we're talking about getting fresh fruits and vegetables and produce and having a full service grocery store in our community, we do not have one that's meeting the growing need.
This is Lawrence Robinson again. Bishop Wiggins talks about meeting the growing need because of lack of produce and vegetables, and we don't have a full-service grocery store in the area. Why do we need a full-service grocery store in the middle of our neighborhood? Do we need a 40,000 square foot building to house vegetables and produce? Why do we want to draw all of that traffic into our community right across the street from Hankins Park, where kids are swimming, playing, and not paying attention to that volume of traffic? Why do we need this? Why can't we figure out a way to expand the existing neighborhood stores and add a few more specialty stores that fits our needs? Why can't the church pastors direct the congregations to spend part of their money in support of the neighborhood businesses? This store is not designed for us. It is being put in our neighborhood because other neighborhoods don't want it. The proximity to John Young Parkway and the 38 to 40,000 cars going to Hunters Creek and Kissimmee, it is easy to stop along the way. This store is not for us, it's for them.
Now, we have several convenience stores that are in our community, but the truth of the matter is we are overpaying for their services. And we believe that having a grocery store, a full-service grocery store, just like a Walmart, or even if it was a Publix or any other chain, that it's going to allow the residents of this community to ultimately share in the profit sharing. Not just the profit, but having better rates. We did a study ourselves and found out that the convenience stores that are in our community are charging what we call a desert tax, because it's a 20% increase over what you would pay at any other store outside of this community, any other chain store, and namely, we compared it to the Wal-Mart.
Hello, this is Lawrence Robinson again. Bishop Wiggins talks about a study that he did, and he talks about the desert tax. The desert tax is the extra money you might pay for items when purchased in a community because of the convenience. Here is a study that I did. There are about 50 churches in Washington Shores, Richmond Heights, Richmond Estates, Lake Man, Ivy Lane, Bruton Boulevard, Columbia, and Raleigh Street areas. As I mentioned before, if the leaders and pastors of this area would ask the congregations to shift just $25 a week to stores in the area, they will survive and thrive. Now, I didn't say come up with an extra $25 a week. I said shift $25 a week from a store not in the area to a store in the area. Now, let's just look at the numbers. You've got 50 churches times, let's say 50 members each church. That's 2,500 members. If 2,500 people shift $25 a week to the local businesses, that's a total of $62,500 a week staying in the community. That's $250,000 a month staying in our community. When businesses know that their customer base is expanding and dependable, they can lower their prices and make up for the lower prices on volume. This actually is the Wal-Mart business plan. It's their model, but they just got away from it. We could do it. It can work. It does work. Okay, I'm not going to go into the rest of the dribble that Don Miller talked about. Over 90% of the conversation actually justified my point. I will give D'Amica Page just a bit of advice. They say that if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to leave. D'Amica, it's time to go. Okay, one more thing here. I've got a couple of recordings of Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, a couple of clips. I would love for you to listen to those. That fits right into what we're talking about. Thanks.
The American Negro collectively is richer than most nations of the world. We have an annual income of more than $30 billion a year, which is more than all of the exports of the United States and more than the national budget of Canada. Did you know that? That's power right there if we know how to prove it.
We should own and operate and control the economy of our community. We have to become involved in a program of re-education to educate our people into the importance of knowing that when you spend your dollar out of the community in which you live, the community in which you spend your money becomes richer and richer. The community out of which you take your money becomes poorer and poorer. And because these Negroes who have been misled and misguided are breaking their necks to take their money and spend it with the man is becoming richer and richer, and you're becoming poorer and poorer. And then what happens? The community in which you live becomes a slum. It becomes a ghetto. The conditions become run down. And then you have the audacity to complain about poor housing in a rundown community. Why, you run it down yourself when you take your dollar out.
We've got to strengthen black institutions. I call upon you to take your money out of the banks downtown and deposit your money in Tri-State Bank. We are telling you to follow what we are doing. Put your money there. You have 6 or 7 black insurance companies here. Take out your insurance there. Now, these are some practical things that we can do. We begin the process of building a great economic base. We've got to give ourselves to this struggle until the end. We've got to see it through.
So our people not only have to be re-educated to the importance of supporting black business, but the black man himself has to be made aware of the importance of going into business. And once you and I go into business, we own and operate at least the businesses in our community. What we will be doing is developing a situation wherein we will actually be able to create employment for the people in the community.